the Bear and Cheryl Show. Baby's Easter weekend edition. Baby. So this is Baby's Easter weekend. His adoption day. When was that? Was that 23 years ago? I'm not sure. It was a long enough time ago. Anyway, this is Holy Easter Friday. Good Friday. So I'm actually off of school. We've had such an amazing time, but oh my goodness, it's been a bunch of work. But I've been doing it. Bear's been, doing his thing too, because he's Bear. And, he don't need to be anything else, right, Bear? So we decided, even though, Good Friday's a solemn time, and I must admit I've had some stuff go on, and so I'm feeling a little bit like that. So, but we're gonna do something anyway to celebrate this wonderful Easter season and how amazing it is. So that is what we're gonna do. We've got a book, which is more of a Good Friday book, I think, too, because, that's what makes Easter so extraordinary. Is that, well, first of all, Jesus is the only one to have ever risen from the grave, right? Jesus conquered the grave. That's what he did, and saved everybody with that. So, I mean, if you believe that idea, anyway, and even if you don't, it's still an extraordinary thing. Jesus is still extraordinary, and, he's the way and the truth and the life, right? That's kind of what he is. So, and I believe that too. Absolutely, I believe that. But I mean, I also want to honor people who aren't there, So, anyway, this is our book for today. So, because Easter is the most extraordinary time of the year for me, Easter Sunday is the most glorious day of the entire year because, he is risen. He is risen indeed, right? And that's the amazing thing, right? That he has, and because he has, we can. That's what makes it extraordinary. That it's such a glorious and fabulous day. So, yay. So, that's Sunday. So, we're going to come back on Sunday and give you guys an extravaganza. And my wonderful gifted group and I are planning something on Sunday, and I believe planning something today as well. If anybody did want to check that out also. So, and so it's a bit of a day off, as I was saying. So, we're going to do some Easter stuff today. Boom! As I said before, baby. It's kind of a Bear's Book Corner. I think it's kind of a Bear's Book Corner. So I think we should Easter Book Corner. So let's do some, because we're going to do Easter Book Corner this weekend. So I had planned on having a bigger Easter series, but we just been busy, right? Which is also a good thing. So here we are, though. Good Friday. So, baby, let's do it, okay? Bear's Book Corner, Bear's Book Corner, Bear's Book Corner right now. Boom, boom, boom. Bear's Book Corner, Bear's Book Corner, Bear's Easter Book Corner right now. Boom, boom, boom. So, baby, what do you want to talk about to the people? What do you say to the people? What do you want to say? Jesus is awesome, and I believe in him too, and so it is. We are here. We are here. I know we are here. So that's beautiful, Puka Cakes. So here we go. Let's read this. This is an interesting one, too, because it has 2 levels of text for a child to be able to read by themselves, and also for the parents to read to the child, which I love. Got it at a very special children's bookstore. Oh, goodness, 15 years ago now, I think. So, Easter story. It says, this is a simple retelling of the Easter story for young children. Charming illustrations and carefully written text make this a lovely book to share with a child. It's actually British. It's a British book. So here we go. It's called The Easter Story. Baby's just getting himself some comfortableness. Right there, the cake spot? Yes. Jesus went, so I'm going to read both of them, right? Because you'll see what I mean. Jesus went to Jerusalem. The people cheered Jesus, which is exactly what happened. Palm Sunday, that's what it's about. And especially for people who are Catholics, and as I was for many, many years. And not only that, it's the story. It's the Easter story. He rode into the great city of Jerusalem on a donkey. His 12 disciples walked along with him. They cut down palms and laid them on the road. They heard he was their new leader. He's everybody's new leader. But only if you want to be. He would never do that. You have to decide for yourself what's good for you. What do you want to do? So that night, Jesus had a special supper. Right, so that's the Easter supper. That's the Last Supper, in case anybody has not heard of it or has heard of it. That's Easter supper, right? That's Jesus broke up some bread. So it was the first communion that ever was. Jesus told his 12 disciples, 13, if you think of Mary Magdalene, but again, not everybody does. So it's whatever you believe. I believe definitely that Mary Magdalene was there and is the apostle to the apostles. But that's me. I mean, she has her own gospel, the Gospel of Mary, in the Gnostic Gospels, if you wanna see it. Jesus told his 13 disciples that he would die soon. Judas, one of the disciples, left the room. Now, everybody who knows that is, of course, aware that that's what happened. Judas betrayed Jesus. Who knows why? I think he was hoping Jesus would be different than he was, and he didn't really realize maybe what he was doing. But, I mean, the real, it was kind of sad. So that's what he ended up doing. Jesus broke up some bread. He gave a piece to each disciple. This is my body, which I give for you. And that's what he says. Right? He says that. So, here we are. Jesus picked up a cup of wine. This is my blood. I will give it for you and all people, he said. Each disciple drank wine from the cup, because they didn't worry about stuff like that back then. They all drank from the cup. Then Jesus went to the garden to pray. It was the Garden of Gethsemane. 11 disciples went with him, because of course Judas wasn't there anymore. He went to tell the Roman, to Pontius Pilate. He went to tell him where Jesus was so that they could find him. Judas had gone to tell the enemies of Jesus where to find him. And of course, Mary Magdalene was most likely there. So, there we go. Okay. Soldiers came to arrest Jesus. They were afraid of Jesus. A lot of people were afraid of Jesus because he could do so many things, and he was able. He was so very able to do things. So people were afraid of him. And then the high priests, like Caiaphas and other priests were jealous of Jesus. They were jealous of the things that he could do, and they were jealous of the people that followed him. So that happened as well. The temple priests accused Jesus of saying he was the king. They said he had broken the laws of God. They thought Jesus wanted all the people to fight against them and their Roman rulers, which was not true, which was never true, right? That wasn't ever true, that Jesus didn't come for that. He didn't come to do that. He came to help people. He came so that I came so that you could have life and have it to the full. That's why he came. He came to help everybody. You will do this and even greater things. So that's what he said. And that's what I believe. That's what keeps me going in a lot of ways. They took Jesus to the Roman governor whose name was Pontius Pilate. The priest told him lies about Jesus. The governor didn't want Jesus to be killed, but he agreed. And that's true. He didn't find anything wrong with him, and he did not want to do that, but he wanted to kind of do the will of the people in a way. Not all the time, but because it was such a holy week, right? Because it was a holy week for other reasons too. And there was some kind of celebration, I think, that the Jewish people were having. So it was Passover. So he realized that he wanted to do something, at least to try and keep the peace, I think, or give them something, or whatever, you know. The soldiers beat Jesus. They made him carry a heavy cross up the hill. He was very tired and often fell down. So, right. So, Pontius Pilate is famously heard of saying, I wash my hands of this. And even this actual gesture comes from there. That it wasn't him. He doesn't take responsibility for what happened, but he did give them Jesus. So really, he gave them Jesus is what ended up happening. Okay. They nailed Jesus to a cross. They put it up with 2 other crosses. Jesus' mother and his friends were there. Jesus died at midday on Friday. So, and he said, it is finished. Meaning that he took everything that everybody had done to him, and it was done. And he did not really blame them for it. He knew his father's prophecy. He knew what he had to do, and he honored God with that. That evening, a friend called Joseph took Jesus away, Joseph of Arimathea. He put him in a tomb on a hill. It was his tomb, actually, because he was quite a wealthy man, and he decided that he would give Jesus the tomb. Because nobody really knew if Jesus was going to come back or not. Nobody really thought that. I mean, no one ever had. So, they were just trying to honor him and honor his body and things like that. So they put him in the tomb. That's what happened. And he does say, there's one man on the cross with him that was a criminal and wasn't very good. And then there was another one who apologized and asked Jesus to forgive him. And Jesus said, today you will be with me in paradise. So that's a really good thing. So let's see what happens. I get really emotional at Easter. Mary, this is Mary Magdalene, right? Because she actually is in the Easter story. She's crucial to the Easter story, even though people sometimes leave her out of it. Whew, I know how she feels. So Mary, a friend of Jesus's, went to the tomb. It was early Sunday morning. Mary looked at the tomb. It was empty. Jesus was gone. Mary spoke to a man. Where have you taken my Jesus? She said. Mary, said the man. Mary saw it was Jesus. So the first person that Jesus showed himself to after he rose from the dead was Mary. And we need to all be aware of that. It's an extraordinary story. She was crying. She was sad. Please, she thought he was the gardener. Please tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him. And then Jesus goes, Mary, and then she's like Rabboni, which means teacher. So she was so happy. That's what it's about. She was so happy to see Jesus again. That's what Easter is. That, he came back. Jesus is alive. So Mary ran to tell his other friends. They were very happy. They saw Jesus often before he ascended to the Father. right? And that's the story. So that is the Easter story. There are other versions of it, but I just really like this version. I thought it was really, well done. And so that is our Good Friday show for you guys. I think we're going to do some fun things on Easter Sunday because we have Funshine Bear, who's also the Easter Bunny. So he's probably going to come and hang out with us. And of course, Baby's going to be here. I'm going to be here. So I hope you're going to be here too. So we'll see you guys on Sunday. Have a blessed Easter day as well. See you later. The Bear and Cheryl Show. Good Friday edition.